We are told from a young age that we need to be useful. Who are we if we are no use to the world? So we commonly value being useful. But the Taoist view is completely different to this common view. The two great Taoist sages, Lao Tzu and Zhuangzi, actually embraced what apparently has no use, such as space. To give you an example, Lao Tzu uses a cup and a home as an analogy to understand space. He would ask us what we value, the cup or the space within the cup. The cup itself has no value without the space it contains, allowing us to enjoy a delicious beverage. Likewise, with a home, what is more valuable, the walls of the home or the space within it? Again, it is the space within the home that allows us to live our lives. Space, then, is not useless at all. Understanding space in the Taoist way acts as a metaphor for our mind and how a mind full of noise cannot be conscious of the Tao. The Tao Te Ching explains this. The way gathers in emptiness alone. Emptiness is the fasting of the mind. So it's the metaphorical value of space and uselessness that is important for us to comprehend. Zhuangzi explains this best as he valued the so-called ugliness of life. This is why he commended the hunchback, the useless tree, the butcher, and so on. The useless tree story in the Zhuangzi text explains the art of being useless best. In the story, a character called Zhu Qi is wandering around a hill when he sees a huge tree different from the rest, where 1,000 horses could take shelter under it, and its shade would cover them all. He thought the tree must have some extraordinary usefulness. Its branches and trunk were all crooked and contorted. Its leaves blistered his mouth after licking them, and its odor was enough to make someone drunk for 3 days. As a result, Zhu Qi said, "It turns out to be a completely unusable tree, and so it has been able to grow this big. Aha! It is this unusableness that the holy man makes use of." At first, Zhu Qi could only see a tree which is useless and superficially ugly. And because of this incorrect perception of the tree, it was allowed to grow big and nourished all in doing so. Zhu Qi was not aware of the power the useless tree contained within. The useless tree is a metaphor for the wisdom concealed within a sage. This uselessness is also a formula for longevity, in particular the longevity of the sage. In the eyes of the world, the sage appears useless and is left alone by the populace to live their life as they choose. For example, the useless tree was left alone to live out its life because it had no use to the crafty and scheming people of the world. A straight and rigid tree, on the other hand, live a very different life. The straight and rigid tree is thought to be useful because we can use its wood for building houses, boats, tables, and so on. Such a tree is cut down in its prime. Furthermore, a straight and rigid tree standing above the rest is cut down first. The straight and rigid tree, then, is a metaphor for all the righteous people in the world who try to change the world according to their own personal agenda and belief system. A righteous person tries to force their will upon the world, and they lose their innocence as a result, and in some extreme cases, their life in trying to justify their own cause. The sage, on the other hand, grows old by not forcing their will upon anything. Their simple life and humility secretly transforms the world without any intention to do so. They have this power because the Tao moves through an empty, unattached, and effortless mind. What we assume is useless is precisely what the Tao makes use of. The Tao can only make use of the useless. So by embracing uselessness, we get closer to true liberation and enlightenment.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup. it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.